Greetings, colleagues in science. Welcome back to the Exile Feed the Beast server. This is last username. And here we are in my power plant, the lower levels of my complex. You may remember we built some steam power last time, and I'm stuck with the steam power. But I've expanded operations. You can see I've got 4 steam boilers now going, and 4 batteries of engines for a total power output of, holy shit, that's a lot of power. I have no idea how much power this thing's outputting, really, because there's really not any good ways to measure it, as far as I can tell. So I think some of this power is going to waste. It must be, but I don't know how much. I think the game really, really needs some better ways to measure power and better ways to control where it goes. And all types of power, MJs, EUs, factorization, whatever. So you guys remember last time how I was saying I didn't like relying on those steam converters? Well, I got rid of them. So now I'm generating all my power as MJs going into this conduit here, and I'm only using the converters to convert it to EU. So we got some of it being converted here, and this gets transformed down to low voltage and goes into all my machines and whatnot. And another 512 EU per tick comes through here and goes into the matter fabricator, where it is very slowly being converted into UU matter. Got plenty of scrap to keep that thing going from these recyclers over here. But I think I need much higher scale power generation before I can generate a useful amount of UU matter. I don't know what, I guess like a fusion reactor or something. But I want steam. I like steam. I might make a fusion reactor. I might. Just because it looks interesting. And Aaron's building one. So we could have like a race. Who can build a fusion reactor first? That would be interesting, actually. Be a good competition. I'll think about that. There have been some changes in the way I'm powering this stuff since the last time. You may remember I was using blaze rods before. But I discovered something rather shocking about blaze rods. See that? They generate 0.8k heat, 800 heat. You'd expect a blaze rod to be better than, say, coal, right? Because it usually is, for other purposes. But here we see that coal actually generates 3200 heat, 4 times as much as a blaze rod. So naturally, when I discovered that, I could not stand to use blaze rods anymore, even though I'd already invested a significant amount of work in blaze rod infrastructure, which is now sitting idle. I had to find a new fuel, one that was efficient, and I think I found a pretty interesting one, actually. I haven't seen anyone use this yet. It's lithium. Liquid lithium. Lithium generates 24,000 heat per bucket. That is, what, 32 times as much as a blaze rod? Not a bad improvement. And I think 8 times as much as coal. I think that's pretty close to the highest in the game. The only ones that are better than that, I think, are biofuel, which is 32. But everyone does biofuel. That's so dull. And then there's, diesel, which I think is 96,000 heat per bucket, but that requires oil, not very renewable. Lithium is renewable, or is in the broad sense of renewable, if you include Mistcraft in the as a renewable resource. I've got a little lithium factory here, and it can easily keep me supplied. This is it. Just this right here, and that tank back there. Pretty simple. Let me show you how it works. So there's a recipe. Well, let me show you first of all where lithium comes from. Lithium, we can see that you can get it by electrolyzing clay dust, along with some other stuff that I have no idea what to do with yet, but I'm storing those. And of course clay dust comes from, oh, that's the wrong kind of clay dust. This kind of clay dust comes from pulverizing clay or macerating it, yada yada yada, using a macerator. Clay comes from balls of clay. And there is a crafting recipe for clay balls. 3 buckets of water and 1 red cobblestone. Red cobblestone is what you find in those mountain ridge biomes where everything is red. So let's look at the whole process here. These are fabricators. So this thing is doing the first step, crafting the clay, and it gets the water from this tank here, which is continuously being refilled by these Zycraft water blocks. There's valves under them, and they're just pouring water in there, generating water constantly. And we've got AE just shoveling buckets in and pulling them out again. Buckets end up here, where the fabricator can access them. On the other side, we've got the red cobblestone. It's coming from the main network. And so this thing is going to craft clay. And this thing is going to pull the clay out and craft clay blocks, which will then be pulled into the AE network here. So this is an independent applied energistics network. It's not connected to the main network. That's just so any other processes or crafting going on in the network don't interfere with this little factory here. So clay blocks come out. They're sent into a rotary macerator, where they're turned into clay dust. This is what you want to use, by the way, if you have any kind of factory that's always running. Rotary macerator, much more efficient than a normal macerator, especially an overclocked normal macerator. That will use absurd amounts of power, whereas this uses a tiny amount of power, and it goes really fast if you leave it running all the time, which you can do by either constantly filling it up or giving it a redstone signal, and it'll just run all the time, even if there's nothing in it. The clay dust ends up in these industrial electrolyzers, where it's turned into lithium. It's going to end up right there, and all the other stuff. Piece of cake, right? So lithium goes onto the main network, and these liquid transposers dump it in the tank. And there's a little level limiter here that says only dump it in the tank if there's more than 256 lithium cells. So I have some lithium cells on hand in case I get thirsty or something, you know. And I've also got these guys here. These are liquid detector blocks, which you can put in a Zycraft tank, and they will output a redstone signal when the liquid is at their level. You can see the liquid is just barely at the level of this one here. So I've got 2 of them at 2 different levels, right at the top there. And so how this works is when the liquid gets up to here, both of these will be on. When both of these are on, it turns this RS, this is an RS NOR gate, and it turns it off. When it turns it off, it will disable this piece of dark cable here. That's dark cable, isn't it? Did I elect to use dark cable there? Nope, that's dark cable. Never mind. So that turns this entire thing on here. That's the other reason I'm using an isolated network, so I can turn it off. So when the tank is full, it just turns the entire machine off, even the applied energistics thing, and saves a whole bunch of power. And of course then the lithium will start to go down because I'm burning it. And when the liquid gets down to below this thing, both of these will turn off, and that will flip this RS NOR gate to the other side, turn the power back on, turn the factory back on. So it's got like a hysteresis thing here. There's this, the liquid will go up and down between these 2 points constantly. If I just had one detector and hooked that up to the factory, the problem is the liquid would bounce up and down really quickly because it would just be flickering on and off all the time, right? I didn't want that. I wanted it to be on for a long period of time and then off for a long period of time. And of course, using Liquidux to get the lithium out of there and into the liquid-fueled fireboxes. But where is the red cobblestone coming from? Well, here's a clue. I've got a level emitter here that's set to emit a signal when red cobblestone is above 4096. When it goes below that, this thingy will turn off, and this timer will turn on. The timer will pulse a wireless redstone, channel 1402. And what does channel 1402 do? Let's find out. That's a lot of red rock. So this is, of course, a Mistcraft Age with a flat terrain generation and the Mountain Ridge biome. There's a page for it. And some glowstone crystals thrown in there. Something a little strange about this world you might notice. Check out my Y coordinate. 257. So this is the very, very top of the world. The very highest blocks can exist. I can't even place blocks at this height. Let's see. If I try to place them here, it won't let me. It won't let me here either. I don't know why that is. It's sort of a weird bug, I guess. I don't want to go there on foot. This is it, the source of my... Why are you moving? Stop moving. Source of my red cobblestone, right here. It's a frame mining machine. Mostly typical, but there's a few unique things about it. As you can see, it has block breakers pointing up here. The reason for that is simply because I couldn't put any blocks at this level, so I had to place them like that. It was the only way I could mine away this top layer, which I had to do so the solar panels could get power. Works pretty well. And there's a tunnel, there's a bore in front. The other thing is that it has not one but 2 chunk loaders attached to it. Reason for that is because in order to keep a frame machine loaded, as far as I can tell, you need to have one chunk loader not moving at any given time, at least one. So what I did is I attached 2 chunk loaders to different sides of the inchworm drive. Give you an idea what I mean. Let's just make this thing go. Channel 1402. Give it a pulse. There we go. So you can see how the 2 chunk loaders take turns moving. And they take advantage of the inchworm drive's sort of natural alternation. I'm pretty sure this will stay loaded, and I'm pretty sure if you don't do this, you'll have problems. Your machine will get mangled. I made another machine before, which I never got to show you guys, but it got mangled in a very strange way by a freak chunk loading accident. So, yeah, be careful with that. So the funny thing is, under normal circumstances, this machine basically never runs. That's because I left it running overnight, right after I built it, and it collected about 300,000 red cobblestone in that one night. And at the rate I'm consuming it, I'm pretty sure that's more cobblestone than I would ever be able to use, at least in the lifespan of this world. And because I've got a system that only makes the machine move on demand, there's never going to be any demand. So I built this whole thing and it's just going to sit there. But just knowing that it works, and that if I did somehow run out of red cobblestone many, many centuries from now, it would start up and keep the red cobblestone flowing. And that's really what it's all about. But enough about energy. I've been talking about energy for an episode and a half straight now. Let's look at some other stuff around here. Probably something that might have caught your attention is this guy. What the hell is he doing? This is the neatest thing I've invented so far. And it took me a while to get it working. It's an item sorting system. This guy is organizing all my random miscellaneous items. Like there's the bulk stuff that goes over there. Applied Energistics takes care of that. But all the sort of extra random things, you know, weird plants, soul shards, records, yada yada yada, all go in these chests. And so here's the computer craft chest, factorization, build craft and thermal expansion, industrial craft, reg tech, red power, and so on and so on. It's great having everything organized like that, but a lot of work keeping it organized. That's where this guy comes in. What he does, any extra stuff that goes into my Applied Energistics network and doesn't fit in anything else ends up here. This is the overflow. When Mr. Turtle gets here, he'll grab anything out of that chest, and he will use this thing, an interactive sorter, to scan his own inventory so that he knows what he picked up. Kind of a strange way to do it, but that's the only way to do it. Turtles don't know. Turtles can't identify items normally, but they can use this thing, because it's a peripheral, to scan themselves. So that's what he does. And then he goes around to the back here, and he moves over top of these interactive sorters. So one for every chest here. And as he's going over them, he connects to them and scans the chest that's next to the sorter and looks at what's in it. So he knows everything is in all of these chests. And he remembers that. He has a file that keeps track of everything, not only that's in the chests, but everything that's ever been in the chests. So even if I take something out, even if I take all of the Naga scales out of this chest, he'll still remember that Naga scales go in this chest. That's the key difference. I've never seen a sorting system that can do that. So, since he knows what he has in his inventory, and he knows what things belong in which chest, as he's going back here, he will drop things in the right chest. It's that simple. Let's give you an example. Pretty sure he knows that this belongs in the Zycraft chest, and that glass fiber belongs in the industrial craft chest, that the liquid dust go in the build craft chest. See if he gets it right. So he sends messages to this monitor, and it'll say what's going on. Some of them have names, but those don't, I guess. So he just dropped, where was it? Fiber in there. Trust me, he did. Liquid duct in there. And what was the last one? The Zycraft. There it is. It's really, really nice having this done for you. This game would be honestly a nightmare if it didn't. Now there are, in theory, better ways to build a system like this, because these interactive sorters can not only scan inventories, but they're also supposed to be able to move items in and out of them and into adjacent inventories. So the first thing I did when I was making the system is just have the items go through the interactive sorters themselves. So they just get sucked out of a overflow chest here, and then just shoot down the row, like one sorter passing them on to the next. The problem is this crashed the server a lot. I don't know if it's bugs in computer craft or bugs in miscellaneous peripherals, which is where this is from, or bugs in both, but I tried everything to make that work. Days and days of tinkering with things, and no matter what, it just took down the server hardcore. There's just nothing I could do to make it work. So eventually I had to settle on this. And it's got a disadvantage. It takes them a long time to bring items to the right place. And sometimes he'll grab items that are intermediate ingredients for some crafting process, and the whole crafting process will get held up while he goes and puts it back again. I haven't figured out what to do about that problem yet. But this is better than nothing, let me tell you. I think Bunsen is jealous of the turtle. Bunsen, you know I love you both in different ways. He'll get over it. This is my diamond factory. Yes, you can manufacture diamonds in Feed the Beast. Let me show you how. This is where it starts. So any coal above 1024 gets put into this thing. And it starts at a rotary macerator, where it gets changed to coal dust very quickly. This fabricator takes coal dust and some flint, which comes from back there, and crafts these things, coal balls. Coal balls get sent to compressor, a singularity compressor, specifically. So this is kind of like the rotary macerator. It's if you want a compressor that's on all the time, you use the singularity compressor, much more efficient when it gets up to pressure. That produces compressed coal balls, which go here and are combined with obsidian from that thing. Trust me, it's there. To make coal chunks. Coal chunks end up in another compressor. This one's overclocked, but the thing is, it doesn't run very often, just occasionally. It takes a while to make one of those coal chunks. And when one of them is made, I should have one, that would be nice. When a coal chunk's ready, it gets dropped in here and compressed into an industrial diamond, which are absolutely useless, but you can take an industrial diamond, or 9 of them rather, and compress them into a real diamond block, which you can then craft into 9 real diamonds. And that's what's going on here. That's how you turn a stack of coal into 1 diamond. And as you can see, this has been running for a long time. So diamonds, not really a precious resource in Feed the Beast, I would say. The rest of this stuff on this floor is just tons of little processes. Let me try to give you the whirlwind tour. So extractor, it's all my extractor recipes, a lot of them. This would be all the macerating recipes, and that's a evil overclocked one, but I hardly ever use it. What's this, bucket filler? Yeah, it just gets water. Any sort of red power alloy smelting stuff. Tank of lava, this thing making obsidian from the lava. Yeah, I don't even know why that interface is there. It's not doing anything. No, it is. No, it isn't. It's general pulverized. Okay, I guess that's just making wood chips to make paper. These are induction smelters, processing all my ores. They'll process just everything that comes in. So all this is, oh yeah, the ore is there. Okay, copper and aluminum, tin, and so on, like lead and whatever. Silver, I think. Centrifuges, which were centrifuging redstone at one point. Now they're not centrifuging anything because I can't find anything that's worth centrifuging at the moment. I don't want to run out of redstone. What's this doing? It's making glass. Right, keeping my glass level at 1024. This is tin. Keeping tin dust. What is this? Electric furnace. This is not doing anything. I can't even keep track of all the crazy stuff down here. So much going on. So this is just smelting. Tons of smelting recipes. Naturally. What the hell was this doing? Oh, this must have been smelting tin. Except it's not right now. There's no tin there. I think I was trying to couldn't figure out what to do with the tin dust. Because that smelts the wrong kind of tin. So I have like 15,000, of that kind of tin, and that thing the dust smelts into a different kind of tin, and there's no automatic way to convert between them. There's a manual way with the Forge Lexicon, but it's manual, and I have 15,000 tin, so not gonna happen. Whoever makes the Forge Lexicon, please make it automatable. Please. It's really essential. Anyway, moving on. Implosion compressor. What am I doing with this? Oh yeah. Iridium plates. Fun stuff. And industrial blast furnace. This one's fully upgraded, so I can make tungsten. And all the usual blast furnace stuff. Maximum heat capacity. This is evil Greg Tech stuff, because you have to make a lower tier. You have to build this with inferior parts to make the superior parts to build the better one. Like these pink blocks have to be made in an industrial blast furnace. Sneaky Greg Tech. Rolling machines. These are kind of annoying because you can only put one recipe in each. And this one is monopolizing 4 iridium ingots just for this one recipe. But it is a common recipe that I use. It's used in various things. But holographic inventory for these, please. Don't make me waste items just to tell it what to craft. Yeah, those things. And the steel production, which is shut down now because I have enough steel. And I don't want to turn all my iron into steel. This is making... It's making quicksilver, which I don't have any right now. One induction smelter making hardened glass. And another one making electrum. Yeah. I don't think they can be the same because I think you can only use one recipe per induction smelter. Because otherwise, the ingredients will get mismatched. It'll send 2 different ingredients from 2 different recipes, and the machine will get clogged up. I'm having that problem. I haven't figured out the solution other than just using one recipe per machine. These things make factorization stuff, conduits and energy cells. So it's just got a supply of molten redstone, and it sends those things down in there. And this one's making tesseracts, so it's got molten ender. And it's making the unattuned tesseract. It's by filling tesseract frames with molten ender. These things are just crafting tiny piles of dust into normal piles of dust. So this one interface is doing lead and silver and iron and manganese, whatever that is. That's all 4 around it here. And we got some more going here, doing iridium and nuggets into ingots, and so on. What's this? Oh, this is crafting glass viewers. So I always have 1,024 glass viewers on hand, because I use them all over the place, as you can see. And then it covers it. Oh, there's these things. Canning machine. What's it canning? Oh, it's making mercury cells. And the industrial grinder, which is using the mercury cells, or it would be if I had any ores coming in, which I do not right now. And this thing is making, processing galena and blaze powder. Not sure what it's doing with blaze powder. Sure, it makes something exciting. And my squid ink farm. It produces a ridiculous amount of squid ink. So you guys got a sneak peek at this thing last episode. Let me tell you more about it. It is obviously my wither skeleton farm. It's where all my coal is coming from, and my wither skulls, which I have a nice collection of now, 74,240. I do have a use plan for those. It is not fighting 25,000 withers. Something else. You'll see. This thing is using conveyor belts from Mine Factory Reloaded. These things are awesome. They're cheap to craft, and you just stick them on the ground and they move. You don't have to power them or anything like that. Mobs stick to them so they can't wander off, and it often, but not always, prevents fall damage when they fall on them, which is also nice for traps. These things were made for mob traps. And they'll move items too, and XP orbs in the latest version. And the design I've gone with here, there's a very important purpose to having these 3 levels here. If you try to do something like this all in one level, see what I'm trying to do is get all the skeletons into this 1x1 space so that these 4 melee turtles can take care of them. And the tricky part with that is that if you try to push them all into a space like that, they'll get all clogged up, bump into each other. But if you split them up like this and then drop them on top of each other, because Minecraft only does horizontal collision between entities, but it doesn't do vertical collision. If you can just get them lined up vertically, then they'll all fit in there, no problem, and they won't get clogged. So that's the purpose of this. It works great. You could even split it up even into more levels if you wanted. You could have like 9 different levels instead of 3. And it would probably run even smoother. Oh, this seems to work just fine. And the turtles, so because they're melee turtles, they're getting the rare drops, i.e. the wither skulls. And they also get XP, which is being collected by this one right here, who's an XP turtle. And he's at level 2,455. Literally, that is, he's at level 2,455. Running for weeks, collecting XP, and I have not spent any of them yet. I was planning to do something with them, build a enchanted book farm, maybe. But it's been done, and it's annoying. There's various bugs you have to deal with to make one of those. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this guy. But it's a lot of levels, because I should be doing something. I don't know. And this is just a plain old creeper farm. Nothing novel about this, just my source of gunpowder. Alright, enough show and tell. I think I've shown you guys just about everything in my base at this point. If I missed anything that you can see, point it out to me. But I think I covered all the major stuff. Alright, why don't we get started on the next big build, which is going to be in the Nether. So the Nether is full of ores. I think there's a Nether ores mod that's in the Ultimate Pack, and I think GregTech also adds ores to the Nether, so there's like multiple mods putting ores in here. And there's all kinds of weird stuff, and I don't know much about it yet. But I know that it tends to be more valuable than ores in the overworld. And it's something new. So I'm going to make a Nether mining machine. And I'm going to make it out of frames and mining wells. Now, I made a mining well machine before. I made it on a Twitch stream. I didn't get much footage of it. It ended up getting destroyed. I think I talked about that earlier in the episode. But I learned a lot from that, and I've got some ideas of how to improve it and prevent it from getting destroyed again. And I'm going to put those into play. This is rather dangerous. but it's fun. Okay, there we go. Fortunately, I didn't get lava poured down my head. So yeah, I've got a new design, relatively novel design for a frame mining machine that uses mining wells. And this is going to take a while to build. We're not going to get it done today, but I'm hoping maybe I can get it started a little. Just show you some of the basic concepts. And of course, we're going to build it up here at the top of the nether, because the mining wells will go down as far as they can. So we might as well just mine the entire nether from top to bottom. We'll end up getting a lot of netherrack, but we can always just dump it in a DSU and maybe even do something with it, make lava out of it or something. Alright, I've got hangar set up here, and I've even started building the machine just a little bit. I've got a energy tesseract set up so I can recharge this thing. Got all the supplies here, or most of the supplies anyway, that I'll need. Linking book, yada yada. So, I'm gonna have to call it an episode, because we're out of time. But, you know, you can start to get an idea what I'm gonna build here. And I'm already seeing one problem. I'm going to have to put covers on top of these frames so they don't stick to the bedrock, and I'm pretty sure that's impossible to do when the frame is right next to the bedrock. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is build the machine a block lower, or a couple of blocks lower maybe, and then when it's done, just move it up with motors, shift it up against the ceiling. Figure that out. It would be nice if there was an easy way to do that, because I've hit that problem before where I want to put a cover on a frame, and the base is not exposed. But does not seem to be I don't know of any way to do that. So, as with any problem, we will solve it somehow using science. Fake science. I'm thinking I want to build this thing live on Twitch TV, on a stream. And I might even do that this weekend, maybe. So if you want to see that, I'll do an announcement on YouTube, I guess. But if you want to be sure to catch it, you should follow me on Twitch, and then you'll get an email right when I start the stream. I'm last username. This is the Exile server. See you guys next time.